Hello, Andrew from Great Lakes Numismatics. Today I'd like to do a video on collecting with kids, whether they be your kids, nephews, nieces, grandkids. It's something you can do to bond with the kids in your life, and something that hopefully will bring them a lifetime of joy. Many coin collectors started out just looking through pocket change, and lots of times it was something that they did with their fathers, or sometimes their mothers or grandfathers. It's come home in the evening with their change, look through them, see what they could find. And back when I was a kid, we were always looking for wheat pennies. And being here closer to the East Coast in the Midwest area, uh, we were always looking for the San Francisco mints. And when I was a kid, we can find the wheat pennies still. I actually found, when I was a kid, Indian head and change. Uh, Found V nickels. These kind of things were still a little more common than they are now. Some of them you can still find. It's, like I said, not as common as it used to be, but if you keep your eyes open, you can find these things. And it's something fun to do with your kids. Teach them what was out before the designs we have now. And even some of the designs we have now are a great way for them to get started by filling albums. There's several series that you can complete a collection out of your pocket change. For example, the Lincoln Memorial Cents. There's no real great rarities there. Uh, you know, if you're looking at the the basic uh, year and mint marks to complete a set there, and the business strikes, as opposed to business and proof. But there's those. There's the Lincoln Shield cents, the more recent ones. That's a real short set to put together. You have Jefferson nickels. There's a few that you're probably not gonna find in change very often, but it's still possible. For example, the war nickels, the 1950D, you're not going to find in change very often. Uh, but you can complete most of a Jefferson nickel set going all the way back to 1938, which would be fun for kids. And you know even the ones that are tough to find in circulation aren't really that rare, so it's not wouldn't be a big investment if you wanted to continue that way. Also, looking at clad dimes, clad quarters, the state quarters, America the Beautiful quarters. These are all coins that you're going to find in circulation, and you can put together a set pretty easily. And kids will enjoy getting the folders, the Whitman folders. There's several other Harris, a couple other different brands out there, but uh, seeing all the slots and filling them in will give them a goal to accomplish. And that's always good when uh, you're setting out to do something like this and keep them interested, especially when it's something that's like the state quarters or the Lincoln Memorial Cents. These can very easily be done by pulling coins out of your change. And it can be frustrating to try to fill a set if there's one or two coins in there that you're just not going to find, and to fill it you're going to have to spend a lot of money. For example, looking at wheat cents, the 1909 SVDB, you're not going to get for a few bucks. It's going to be something that most collectors don't get a hold of, and that's going to be frustrating to kids. So you kind of want to stay away from series like that. Just do the ones that they can find the coins, not put a lot of money into it, and something, if they lose interest, you're not really out a whole lot. Now, hopefully, by taking an easy start approach, filling up, say, a Lincoln Memorial album, will inspire them to look into the coins that came before that, the ones that are a little bit more difficult to get a hold of, and they'll want to learn more about them. Great place to start with that. like always, is the Guidebook of United States Coins, or the Red Book. It's and it's kind of a price guide, but remember, it's just a guide. Uh, by the time these are published, the prices are outdated, and they're coming basically from what dealers sell them for, and not what they're buying them for. So, but there is lots of information in the Red Book. It's a great place for kids to start because they don't it doesn't get real complicated into dye varieties and such. It's something where they can learn the basics of the coins that they're interested in, and may discover coins that they wouldn't discover otherwise. For example, when I was a kid and I was buying a Red Book, I would read through it and I would discover coins that you just don't hear about on a regular basis. For example, I found the Flying Eagle cents, and it's become one of my favorite coins. And I have one that when I was a kid I asked for Christmas one year, and my father bought it for me, and it's one of my most prized coins that I own. It may not be the most valuable, but it has a lot of sentimental value for me. So that's another approach you can take, is when you purchase these coins, for your kids, find something that they really are interested in, and it could be something that is an heirloom for them and something they could pass on to their kids as well. But the most important thing is to remember to keep it fun for them. Coin collecting really should be about fun and enjoying what you're doing, enjoying your collection, and not making it about money and some acquiring wealth. Is It's possible to put back some good money with coins, but lots of times you're not going to get a whole lot more than what you paid for them, even holding on to them for long times. Uh, Most coins will rise slowly over time. A lot of the stuff you're going to find in your pocket change now, it's not likely that they're ever going to be rare enough to really increase much in value. For example, cents are made in the billions now. Coins that have appreciated in value over the last 50 to 100 years are the ones that were made in small quantities, up to maybe 10 million. The ones that were made in hundreds of thousands. They may still seem like a lot, but compared to billions that are made now of different coins, uh, chances are that these coins made in the billions are never really going to be of any rarity whatsoever, other than in maybe really high grades, which uh, leads to another topic which I'll cover in a different video, which is the investing in very high grade modern coins. This is also a great activity for bad weather days. For example, uh, say the kids can't go to school, get out some rolls of pennies. A box of pennies is $25, and you still always have the intrinsic value, the $25 that they're worth face value. So get some rolls of pennies out, start looking through for wheat cents, and something you can do with your kids to just spend time together and possibly teach or learn from each other. And uh, there's lots of different things you can do this way. Or if you're homeschooling, for example, uh, it's a great way to start teaching some math, some probability. Find which years, mint marks that you're coming up with, and determine how rare these particular coins are to come up, what the probability of particular coins coming up in a roll are. That's just one example of how you can use this educationally. Plus, you can look into the coins of how the design was made, You can look into the coinage process. You can look into values of different coins, and talk about supply and demand as well. And as well as there's a lot of history in coin collecting. You can look into why mintages were low at certain points. For example, the Great Depression. When talking about that in a history lesson, again, if you're a homeschooler, it's an interesting thing to point out that a lot of people don't think of. And during certain periods, the early 30s, the late 20s, a lot of coins were made in smaller amounts, just because they weren't needed for circulation. And you can discuss how this has made the coins that were made at that period more valuable. Now, I mentioned coin roll hunting. That's something I will probably do another video on and get it much more in depth on. But like I mentioned, that is an inexpensive way to collect coins. It's a great way to do it with your kids because, like I said, it's inexpensive, and you can still find some old stuff this way. For example, wheat stents. Usually you'll find a few of them in a box. When I do my coin roll hunts, I usually average 9-10 wheat cents per box. There's still people finding Indian head cents and coin rolls. It's not as common. If you happen to want to put a little bit more money into it, you can get boxes of nickels. You'll find the war nickels, and that's another thing you can discuss on a history side of why we were making the war nickels the way we were with the 35% silver. And which goes back to the cents also, the 1943 steel cents. You can still find these in circulation, not quite as often, but it's something that you can bring up history with your kids. And back to the nickels, every now and then you'll still find buffalo nickels. Dimes, you don't quite find as many old stuff in there. You start getting into the dimes and quarters, and a lot of the silver has been pulled out already. You're looking at 90% silver in the ones made from 64 and earlier. So at that time and through the years, a lot of the silver has been pulled out, but you'll still find some every once in a while. But you got to put quite a bit of money in to get a whole box of either dimes or quarters. And but since half dollars have not circulated as much, you'll find a lot more silver in the half dollars than you will in the smaller coins. Plus, with the half dollars, there was the years that they made the silver cladded coinage through 1970. So you got a little bit more there, and it's getting harder to find, but it's still there, and you got to put up a lot more money to get your bank to order a box of these for you as well. Now, another route you can go with your kids is world coins. Lots of times, you're not going to find world coins in your change. You will find some foreign coins, lots of Canadian, and it depends on the area you live in. If you live down along the southern border, Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, sometimes you'll find some Mexican coins. I've found coins from the Bahamas, Ireland. Usually the coins that are very close or the same size as United States coins. And actually the United States has minted a lot of coins for foreign countries. Lots of times they will use very similar size and sometimes the same planchets to make the coins, and so they fit easily in the rolls. Every now and then you'll find stuff like this, but back to what I was, my point there is world coins tend to be very inexpensive in the United States. There isn't quite as high a demand, so it's something you can put together an interesting collection fairly easily. And you can either find online where you can buy bags of world coins. eBay is a place you can find that. Try to look for ones that state they don't have Canadian or Mexican in them, just because you're going to end up with a lot of them if they include that stuff in there. But you can usually get these bags, by the pound or by the quantity, fairly inexpensive. Coin shops, lots of times, they'll buy them in bulk, and lots of times would like to get rid of them because they just get way too many of them. But you can get these coins from your local coin shop, and lots of times they'll sell them to you by the pound, and usually fairly inexpensive. And you can go through and see how many countries you can find. They're common ones, like I said, Ireland, the other European Union countries, British coins. Find a lot of UAE coins in these, as well as other European countries, African countries. But it's a great way to teach geography. Have your kids find these coins, figure out where they're from, and have them find them on the map. It's a great way to introduce some of that stuff. And for example, I was interested in stamps as a kid, and that's something that's kind of went away, is stamp collecting. There's very few stamp collectors anymore. But I remember as a kid, we used to be able to buy bags of world stamps or United States stamps, and I would love just going through these for hours and figuring out where they came from and looking at the subject matter on them. The same thing you can do with coins is figure out where they came from. Kids will pick up on some different languages possibly, trying to figure out what is on the coins, and it's just a fun way to teach them some of this stuff. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it informative. Please leave a like, subscribe if you'd like to see some more of my videos, hit the notification bell so you know when they're coming out, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.